All right, guys. So quickly want to preview the Alabama-Cincinnati game real quick. Want to talk quickly about the biggest keys, biggest takeaways that could happen for this game. And I actually think that this is actually the biggest, or I shouldn't say the biggest, but this is possibly Cincinnati matches up way better than I think Georgia does, at least for this particular matchup. Now, there's a possibility that Georgia moves on, beats Michigan, and they play Alabama for a second time. There's a possibility that rematch could happen, and Georgia will play Alabama a lot tougher because they actually have experience this time of playing Alabama, and they're fortunate enough to potentially play them twice. But Cincinnati, I think for now, I think they definitely have some strong areas that can give Alabama problems, right? Alabama's right. This is something that is very interesting because last week, Alabama played against Georgia's defense. Alabama's biggest strength, which was the pass offense, went up against Georgia's weakness, which was their pass defense. At least, not on paper, of course, but at least if you're talking about from just like a battle test kind of perspective, right? Georgia's secondary had really never been tested. Alabama went out there and they absolutely shredded them. Now, Cincinnati, I think it's a different story because they do have some experience going against some really good passing offenses. Matter of fact, 4 of the top 25 teams in the statistical category when it comes to passing, they've played against, right? You look at and again, their group of they're not group of 5 power teams. I think that's the one argument that a lot of fans will make. Well, they're not strong powerhouse teams, right? SMU, Houston, right? Eastern Carolina. And I watched that Eastern Carolina game. Their quarterback, man, I don't even know how in the hell they're in the top 25 in passing, but Eastern Carolina is there. And then also Memphis. But if you also look at the track record of the American Conference, they're known for their explosive offense, right? I call the American Conference the mini Big 12 because it is a lot of explosiveness. They got a lot of really good athletes. And if you look at a lot of the players in the NFL, some of the best players in the league comes from that damn conference. So let's not underestimate it. But, Cincinnati has experience playing against some really, really good passing offenses that can give that Bearcats defense some problems schematically. Now, the one thing, again, you can say is that Alabama's offense has better athletes, right? Jamison Williams is arguably the best receiver right now, or at least top 5 receiver in all of college football. He's one of the fastest guys. He's the type of dude that if he gets a step on you, he's gone. So we understand that. Jamison Williams is a very, very hard dude very hard dude to cover. But here's the thing about Cincinnati with their passing defense. You have 3 guys that are not just all conference players, first team all conference players, but two of those guys can end up being first round picks in Kobe Bryant at the outside cornerback position, and then Sauce Gardner at the other one. And Gardner is projected to being a first round pick. Now he's a big, tall, physical corner, but he's also very fast. Now, can he match the speed of Jamison Williams on a consistent basis? Probably not, right? Probably not because Keely Ringo. Again, you're talking about Keely Ringo. That dude is arguably a sub-4 guy. And again, there were times where he barely can keep up with Jamison Williams. Now, again, don't underestimate Jamison Williams' route running ability, right? Jamison Williams can run any route, and particularly any route in a tree. And the dude is just an absolute beast at that. So don't underestimate him because he can absolutely cook you. But again, it's not just the backhand of their secondary, which is a strength. And I forgot to even mention Cooks, their safety, who's been an absolute stud for Cincinnati so far. I do believe, again, Bearcats fans, please correct me on this, but I do believe that they run a 3-3-5 defense. So again, that defense is predicated towards the pass. Now, another advantage that can happen with Cincinnati is the fact that Alabama's run offense is just not that good this year. Right, they've been banged up with injuries. They have like 1 healthy running back so far. Trey Sanders even got banged up in the Georgia game. So really, again, Brian Robinson, who's not 100% at all, that's probably going to be one of the only reliable back that's going to be there. The rest of their backs were hurt, literally hurt with season-ending injuries. Right, you look at guys like Kamar Wheaton. You look at guys like Jace McKellen. Even Kamar Wheaton was gone. It's just, Rodell Williams out for the season as well. So Bama is banged up there, and then their offensive line has not been the best. Now, they've shuffled a lot for their offensive line, and they played a spectacular game against Georgia, but here's the thing. It wasn't really good run offense, right? I think a lot of people look at, well, Alabama had like over 100 yards rushing against Georgia, and they averaged like around 5-6 yards per carry. But we got to remember that Bryce Young had a huge impact in the run game, right? If you take away at least 30 or 40 of those yards away, Alabama probably has like around 70 yards rushing, maybe even less than that. Because again, I'm just guessing around the number that I think Bryce Young had, but he had around at least 30 to 40 yards rushing, at least in that category. So this is a run offense that I think that they have to take advantage of, right? Cincinnati has given up 137 yards per game in the rushing category. Now, it's not bad, but it's not really great. Again, they really play to the strength of their passing defense. They will let a running back rush for over 100 yards on them, but they won't let a quarterback throw for 300, 400 yards on them because they know that is the way to lose now in football. It's not by rushing the football, right? This is not the New England Patriots where you get to rush for 246, you get to rush for 200 yards at will. And even then, the Patriots barely won against the Buffalo Bills 14-7. So they know that giving up the rush, they can do that. What they won't allow to do is give up the pass. So it's very interesting for that particular matchup about Alabama's, passing offense and their receivers. And also we got to take into account that John Mechie's out for the season. He's out for the season with a torn ACL injury. So Ja'Cory Brooks, IG Hall, maybe Trayshawn Holden, those guys are going to get a lot more reps. And again, the inexperience factor, at least when it comes to a communication standpoint between them and Bryce Young, that's something that they're going to have to work on for like maybe around 2-3 weeks in order to prepare for Cincinnati. But that's something that Bearcats defense and the experience that they have there, they know about and they can definitely take advantage of. Now, as far as Cincinnati's offense, it's a very efficient, very effective offense. They're actually really explosive as well. Now, again, they're 78th in yards in first downs, but they're one of the top scoring offenses in college football. This is a very explosive offense, and they can run the football. They can run the football very, very well. Jerome Ford is, again, former Alabama running back, one of the most explosive running backs in college football. He's a dude that can take that again, he can, average 2-3 yards per carry, and then all of a sudden he takes one to the house for 70 yards. He did it against Georgia last year, and he's been doing it all season long. And even before the Georgia game, he's been doing it all season long. So Alabama's going to have to do a really good job because sometimes Bama doesn't really have the gap discipline. They've had inconsistency when it comes to gap discipline. You really can't allow that against a very explosive team that Cincinnati has. Obviously, they got Desmond Riddler, who's a very efficient quarterback, can make any type of throw. Is he an elite quarterback? Probably not, but he's a very, very good quarterback. He's better than Stetson Bennett. I'll say that. He's definitely better than Stetson Bennett, can make all the throws, has a strong arm, big quarterback, and he's a guy that you're going to have to pressure. You're going to have to pressure him. Now, since, their offense has been good. Their offensive line has been good, and the offensive line is good. But again, Notre Dame gave Cincinnati a little bit of trouble. They did a really good job pressuring Desmond Riddler. Bama's defense is better than Notre Dame's. It's better. They have more talent. I think the coordinator's a little bit better. And again, Marcus Freeman's a great defensive coordinator. He used to coach at Cincinnati, by the way. I think I kind of find that ironic. But anyway, it's just that I think that Bama's defense is just a little bit better. It's more productive, way more talent. William Anderson's arguably the best player in all of college football. And again, if they can put the pressure on Desmond Riddler, I don't think he's going to panic. I don't think he's a guy that's going to be frustrated. But can he make those mistakes, right? Can he make those mistakes to give Alabama's offense an opportunity? That's something that we're going to have to find out about. Just another quick note, too. Job is out for the rest of the season, right? He's out for the rest of the season. So Kool-Aid McKinstry and Jalen Armour-Davis are going to be the starters. Now, that can be a good thing because Jalen Armour-Davis, you can make an argument when he was healthy, was definitely the better cornerback of the two. And then Kool-Aid, when he substituted in, whether if it was for Jalen Armour-Davis or for Josh Jobe, he has played oh my goodness gracious, he's played way better than Josh Jobe has. So that can be a positive sign. Now, Cincinnati can take aware of this and they can put a guy like Dameon Pierce, They can put a guy like Pierce right on Kool-Aid and have that matchup, right? Kool-Aid has some trouble with George Pickens, and he was at 50% last week. So he can give up the big play, but Kool-Aid is a guy that can also make you play. He has really good ball skills. He can track the football very well compared to Josh Jobe and Jalen Armour-Davis. And he's also, again, another big cornerback standing at around 6 feet, 6'1". And so very interesting game, guys. Very, very interesting game. I'm very excited for this matchup between Alabama and the Bearcats. Again, I think that styles can win matchups. I think Cincinnati matches better compared to what Georgia did against Alabama. I think that this is not going to be an easy game that Alabama fans are kind of talking about there. I think this is going to be a challenge. Do I think Alabama will win this game? I do. I think I'm confident that we can win this football game. But I do believe that this is going to be a closer game than what people expect it to be. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think that this is going to be a pretty competitive game. Best case scenario for Bama, maybe gets competitive to the fourth quarter, and Bama can drag it out and take it all the way. But Cincinnati, for the most part, they got 30 seniors, so they have a ton of senior leadership. They're not afraid. They're not faltered by the pressure. This is a team that's going to come. They're going to come motivated. And this is going to be a team that's going to come ready to play. So I expect Alabama to also show up and play their best ball, because that's another factor that I didn't talk about yet, was the fact that which Bama team are you going to get? Are you going to get the team that played against Ole Miss? Are you going to get the team that played against Georgia? Or are you going to get a team that played to the level of their competition against Arkansas, against LSU, which are more inferior opponents to Bama, but they played down to their opponent? So I think Bama is the better team, but are they going to play down to Cincinnati's level, or can they be what we expect them to be, and that's a national championship type of caliber team? Even still that they're at around 50% health right now, they're still a really good football team.